Namaste friends, welcome back to my channel. Friends, in my previous video I have shown you how to make this middle component, the top one and the bottom component for our Shalimar pendant and the necklace. And today we are going to combine these components into our pendant and make a necklace or the neck chain for it. So let us first combine these components into the pendant. So here is our center component or the middle one, and we are going to use the same thread for attaching its upper component and the bottom one. So here in our center component, you can see right now I'm exiting through this 15. This is, you can see the bicones here. This is the first, second, third and fourth picot stitch in these bicones. And here as I'm exiting through this fourth one, this fifth bicone, as I already told you, is the middle one, the center one, and we have to take the picot stitch on both the side of this fifth bicone. So here I'm exiting to this 15 just before this bicone, and I'm going to pick up 115 1 4 bicone and 115. So here I have picked up these 3 beads, and now I'm going to pick up my smaller component, which is the top component, top part, and here this is the back side of the center component, so I'm taking the back side here, and now I'm going to pass through. Here also we have to take the middle bicone. So here in this top component we have 7 bicones, and the fourth bicone is the center bicone for us. So here we have to take this one, 1, 2 and 3. So we have to pass through this 15. So here, after picking up these 3 beads into this picot stitch just before the fourth bicone, the middle one, like this, moving back into all the 3 beads, the 15, the 4 bicone and the 15, into this 15 at the bottom, down through this 15, like this, up through this 15, like this. Now into these two 15s. This is the middle one of this set, 1, 2 and 3, the third one of this set. And now I'm going to pick up 115, 1 3 pearl and 115. So here I have picked up these 3 beads and into the middle 15 round this bicone. This is the middle one, like this, up through the 3 beads and into the 15 of the center component, down through these two 15s, up through this 15 and into this 15 like this. And now picking up 115 champagne, 1 4 mm bicon, and 115 champagne. So these 3 beads and into this picot stitch, the 15 of this picot stitch, like this, down through these 3 beads, like this, into the 15 at the bottom, down through this 15 and into this 15 underneath, which is added in between the bicones and into the bicon, like this. So here we have attached the top component to the center one, and after attaching it, we will move down as I'm exiting through this bicon into this 15 and into the bicon, the 15 and the bicon, the 15 and the bicon, and now after exiting through this bicon, I'm going to move up to this 15 up into this 15 the 11 into the bicon and the 11 into the pearl, the bicon, sorry, the 11 the bicon and the 11 champagne, like this. Now after exiting through this 11 we are going to pick up the set of these beads, 115 champagne, 111 champagne, 1 4 mm bicon, and 111 champagne. And now here I have picked up the bottom component, that is a teardrop, and as we are working through the back side, so this is the back side of our bottom component, and into this top 11 which is the tip, like this. You can see from the front here. And now again I'm picking up the set of same 4 beads, 111 4 mm bicon, 111 and 115, and into this 11 on the top. So here you can see I have added these beads, and now into the bicon, the 11 skipping this 15 into the next 11 and the bicon, like this. Just pull the 15 out so that we can create a corner over here like this. We have created the corner into the 11 into the teardrop, up through this 11 the bicone and the 11 skipping the 15 into the 11 like this. You can see we have created the corners on both the sides. And now after exiting through this 11 you're going to pick up 2 15 champagne, 1 3 pearl and 1 15 champagne. These 4 beads, 2 15 1 3 pearl and 1 15. And now moving down into this 11 like this, into the 11 of this teardrop, up through this 11. Now after exiting through this 11 champagne, moving up into this 15 champagne that we added with this 3 pearl, into the 3 pearl and into this first 15 champagne added with the 3 pearl like this. Now after exiting through this 15 champagne, I'm picking up 1 15 champagne and into this 11 like this. Once again moving down into the 11, the bicone and the 11. We have to keep our thread nice and tight here. Into the 11 at the bottom. Now here we have completed our pendant, our Shalimar pendant, and now we are going to make the chain for this pendant like this, for this necklace like this. If you want, you can also attach any other pearl chain to both these sides, but here we are going to make it into a necklace. So we are going to make this pearl and bicone chain for this pendant. And now here we are left with very less thread. So I'm going to end up this thread here and attach another thread for the chain. So here you can see right now I'm exiting through this 11. Now moving down through this couple of 11s like this and into the 11 at the back side, into this 11 and here we can tie a knot like this. Now passing through a couple of beads like this, and we can cut our thread off. And now we will add a new thread on the top. So friends, we are making the chain, the pearl and the bicone chain for our pendant. Here I have taken double thread, you can see, and I have taken the total length of 6 feet 6 feet of double thread. So this is 6 feet of double thread. It means I took 12 feet long thread and I doubled it, and you can see I got this 6 feet of double thread. You can use the smaller thread if you want. I will show you how you can attach another thread to the chain. Now for adding the thread, you can see right now here we have these bicon and the 11 and I'm passing through the center bicon and the 11. So now here I'm passing through this 11 and the pearl like this into this 11 next to the pearl, the bottom one, into this very carefully. We have to take the pass, and now here in between the bicon and the 11 I'm tying a knot. Very carefully take the passes, as we have used single thread at the bottom there. And now I'm going to tie a knot like this. And into the bicon. This is the major problem by using the longer thread, that it get tangled up. So I always prefer to use the smaller length of threads, and I keep attaching it in my chain. That is much more comfortable. And if you tie the knot and secure it, your chain will not get damaged at all. So here we have attached this new thread, and now we can cut the tail off. So it's sturdy here, it's stiff. And now as I'm exiting through this 11 I'm going to pick up 3 11 champagne and back into this 11 like this. Now up through this 11 and into this 11, just one more pass, into this 11 through the 11 and into this 11 like this. Now after exiting through this 11 we will pick up the set of these beads: 1 4 mm bicon, 1 11 champagne, 1 4 mm pearl, 1 11 champagne, and 1 4 mm bicon. So the set of these 5 beads back into the 11 champagne like this, up through the bicon and the 11 like this into the 4 pearl. Just keep your thread nice and tight here. And now after exiting through this 4 pearl, I have picked up these three 4 pearls and into the 4 pearl like this. And now picking up the set of these 5 beads, 2 11 champagne, 1 11 antique ivory, and 2 11 champagne. So I've picked up these 5 beads, and as I'm exiting through this side of the pearl, I'm going to pass through the opposite side of the opposite pearl like this. Very carefully, you have to work with the thread. So now picking up to 11 champagne and moving down through this 11 antique ivory. Now picking up to 11 champagne back into the 4 pearl at the bottom. Like this. Up through this 4 pearl into the 4 pearl at the top. Like this. And now after exiting through this top 4 pearl, I'm going to pick up the set of these 5 beads, 1 11 champagne, 1 4 bicone, 1 11 champagne, 1 4 bicone, and 1 11 champagne, and back into the 4 pearl. Like this. And now up into the 11, the 4 bicone, and the 11, the middle one, like this. And now picking up 1 3 pearl, 1 11 champagne, and 1 3 pearl. Now I have picked up these 3 beads back into the 11 champagne, like this. You can see the look, how the chain is proceeding. You can see. And now up through the 3 pearl into the 11 champagne, and after exiting through this 11 champagne, 1 4 bicone, 1 11 champagne, 1 4 pearl, 1 11 champagne, and 1 4 pike. The set of these 5 beads back into the 11 champagne, like this. Up through the bicone and the 11 champagne into the 4 pearl, and now picking up 3 4 pearls and into the 4 pearl, and here this is the back side. So we are going to add the embellishment on the front. So here again I have picked up the set of these 5 beads, 2 11 champagne, 1 11 antique ivory and 2 11 champagne into the pearl, the opposite pearl, and from the opposite side creating a cross like this. Now picking up 2 11 champagne and down through this 11 antique ivory, picking up to 11 champagne and into the 4 pearl at the bottom like this, up through the 4 pearl into the 4 pearl, and now picking up 1 11 champagne, 1 4 bicone, 1 11 champagne, 1 4 bicone and 1 11 champagne, the set of these 5 beads, and into the 4 pearl like this, up through the 11 champagne, the 4 bicone and into the 11 champagne like this. Now again I'm adding 3 pearl, 1 11 champagne and 1 3 pearl, the set of these 3 beads, and into the 11 champagne, up through this 3 pearl into the 11 champagne. Now here you can see we have added 2 components in our chain, and for making a 18-inch long necklace we have to add 9 components on each side of the on each side. You can see on this side also and at this side also. So here we have added 2, we are going to add 7 more components and come back. So friends, here I have added 8 components. Let us count: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8, and now here I'm adding my 9th component, and for this I have added the bicones, 11 and the pearl, and now right now I'm exiting through this 11 champagne and now into the 4 pearl. So here I have to add the pearl component, so I'm picking up 3 4 pearl and now into this 4 pearl, now picking up 2 11 champagne, 1 11 antique ivory and 2 11 champagne, the set of these 5 beads into the opposite pearl, picking up 211 champagne into this 11 antique ivory, picking up 211 champagne down into the 4 pearl at the bottom, like this. So here I have added my 9th pearl component, and now as we are going to finish it up here, so I'm not adding the bicones to this last component. To this 9th component, we are going to add the bicones on one side only at the bottom, as we have added on both the sides on all other components, but in this last we are going to add only on this side. And now here I'm picking up 7 11 champagne and back into the 4 pearl, like this, stepping up into the first 3 11 champagne, skipping the fourth one, down into the next 3 11 champagne, pulling the middle one up for creating the tip, like this, into the 4 pearl, like this, up and into this 11 champagne. And now picking up 4 pairs of these 4 pearl and 11 champagne, 1, 2, 3 and 4 pairs, bringing these down like this. So at the end we are creating this pearl chain. If you want to increase the length of the necklace, you can increase the number of pearls at the back of the chain, or you can increase the number of components. It's up to you what you want to increase. So here I have added 4 pairs of 4 pearls and 11 O's, and now I'm going to add the clasp here. So for this, here I'm using this S clasp. So I'm taking out the jump ring of this clasp, and right now I'll be adding the jump ring. So for this, I have picked up the jump ring and 6 11 champagne, and now I'm bringing these down towards the end and holding the jump ring here in between these 11 O's. Now skipping the first 11 O here that I added with the pearl, moving up into the 6 11 O's that I just added with the jump ring, and we are going to make a loop. So this was the 6th one, back into these 11 O's like this, just keep the thread nice and tight here, back into the 11 O's, into this 11 O, the 6th one, down through this 11 O like this. So we have added the jump ring to the chain here, and now I'm moving down through these pearls like this, and here we exited from this side of the 11 O. Now moving into the 11 O from the opposite side, like this. Moving down. Now into this 4 mm pearl, into this 4 mm pearl, down through this 4 mm pearl, down through the 11, the bicone, into the 11, the 3 mm pearl, and the 11. As we are left with this much of thread, so we can either go down, passing through, taking a single pass, and we can go down till we end up with this thread, or we can just tie a knot here and pass through a couple of beads and finish it up. So here I'm showing you how you can strengthen it by passing through these beads throughout the length of this chain. So we are just passing down through all these beads once. So I'm going to pass through all these beads like this. So I'm going to move down throughout these beads till I reach the last pearl component over here. So I have taken the pass through all these components. Throughout these components, right now I'm exiting through this 4 mm bicone into the 11, into the 3 mm pearl, and now here I'm going to tie a knot just before this last component, or you can say the first from the bottom. Just a single knot, into the 11, into the 4 mm bicone. You're tying a single knot because already we have secured our thread so much, so you don't need to tie, but if you want you can just tie one more here just before the 4 mm pearl, into the 4 mm pearl, down into this 4 mm pearl, into the 4 mm pearl, into the bicone, the 11, up through the bicone and the 11, back into the pearl, and we can cut our thread off very carefully. So here you can see we have added this chain on one side, and we are going to add it in the same way to the other side. But I told you that I will show you how you can add the thread if you are using or if you are working with the smaller thread. So here I'm going to add a smaller thread. Here I added about 6 feet of double thread, and it was enough for this length of the about 8.5 inch long chain on one side. This was enough. 6 feet long thread is enough for one side, but now I will take about 3 feet of thread on the other side, just to show you how we can end up the thread and add another thread in between the chain, because it becomes very difficult to work with the longer threads. Even I face so much of difficulty. It gets tangled up, and sometimes it becomes very difficult and it gets torn up. So I'll show you how you can work with smaller thread and still make a very sturdy chain. So here I have taken 3 feet long thread, 3 feet long double thread, and now starting from here, from the back side, you can see we have to add the component to this 11O next to the bicon. So I'm passing through this 11O, the 4 pearl, the 11O at the bottom, and here I'm going to tie a knot between the bicon and the 11O very carefully. As we are working with double thread, very carefully into the hole like this, into the bicon. Just check so it's sturdy here, and into the 11O next to the bicon. Now picking up 3 11O champagne into this 11O. Once again through all these 11Os. We are working with double thread, so it might get sometimes stuck, but working with smaller thread is much easier than with the longer threads. Down into the 11O, up through this 11O and into this 11. And now we are going to add our pearl chain or the pearl component. But let us cut this tail off first very carefully like this. And here I'm going to add my first pearl component. So for this I'm picking up 4 bicon, 11 champagne, 1 4 pearl, 1 11 champagne, and 1 4 bicon. The set of these beads. Into the 11 champagne at the bottom, up through the 4 mm bicon and the 11 champagne into the 4 mm pearl. And now I'm going to proceed further with my pearl component, the bicon component, until I end up with this thread, and then I will show you how to end it up, tie a knot, and how to add the new thread. So here I have added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components, and I'm adding the sixth one, and I'm about to finish up with my thread. So now I'm going to show you how we are going to end the thread. So here I'm exiting through this 4 mm pearl, and now I'm going to pass through these 11 O's, moving down through these 11 O's into the 4 mm pearl, and here I'm going to tie a knot between the 11 O and the pearl, very carefully, like this. I'm tying only a single knot. Now moving down through these beads into this 11 O, down through the bicon and the 11 O, and here again I'm going to tie a knot. So we have tied 2 knots and secured a thread, and now I'm passing down till I finish up with this thread, and here I'm passing down in the same way as I did on the other side, this chain on the other side, moving down through these beads, and this way I'm securing my thread like this, and now I'm cutting this thread off, and now I will show you how you can add a new one. Now here I have taken about 3 feet of double thread as I did earlier, and now I'm going to add it to my component. And for this, when we ended our thread, we passed through this side, and now I'm going to move up through the opposite side. Otherwise, it will get stuck up here, as we already have so much of thread on this side. Now, after exiting through this 4 mm bicon, I'm tying a double knot, one here, and then passing through this 11 O. You might need a plier, as we have already taken a pass into this 11 O, like this. And here again I'm going to tie a knot, Friends, here on this side, I already told you that I'm using shorter threads just to show you if you are having problem with a long thread, you can also use shorter thread and you can do this way. Otherwise, if you can easily work up with 6 feet long thread, then it's okay. You can do as we have done previously on this side. Up through these beads, and now you can move further and we can cut the tail off. And you can see our thread is all tight, and we can move and proceed further with our chain and end up with it adding this jump ring at the end. So we are going to complete this side, add the jump ring and come back. So here I have added the jump ring at the end. Prints, here I'm using the S clasp, so it has the jump ring on both the sides, so I'm adding the jump rings. So you can see that I have completed my chain and added the jump ring, and after adding the jump ring I have moved back into the pearls, and now I'm going down. So here I'm exiting through this 4 mm pearl, and I'm going to pass through this 11 from the opposite side like this, down through these 11. Now I'm going to pass through all these beads till the point where I added a new thread, because we won't be able to take more pass through those 11. We have already taken 3 to 4 passes with double thread, so now it won't be possible to take passes and the 11 tend to break down, so it's better to take pass through the beads till we reach that point where we added the new thread. So here, down through these, like this, and here moving down, and now I'm going to tie a knot here and pass through this pearl down through this bicone, down, and here again I'm tying a knot and moving down through the pearl, down to the bicones and the elegance, and here I'm cutting my thread off. So here we have completed our chain, and as of for these components at the bottom, we already took passes through these components when we ended up with our thread, the previous thread. So friends, after completing it, we are going to add our hook like this. So this is the S clasp, very easy to attach to any necklace. So here we are finished up with our Shalimar necklace. Here you can see the look of the necklace. So this is the look, the complete look of the necklace. And friends, I will always suggest you to use the same colored thread. And if you use the lighter colored thread in the bicons, it will start popping up from the bicon, the line. You would be able to see that line, and it if you like that look, you can use it, but if you don't, I will suggest you to use the same colored thread as of the bicon. Or if you don't have that thread, you can also use the clear thread for the project. So here is our Shalimar necklace in fuchsia color, and here are the matching earrings in fuchsia color. So you can see this is a long necklace, and it's up to you how long you want to make this. If you want to increase the length of this necklace, you can increase the number of these components. And if you want to shorten the length, you can decrease the number of these components. So this is our Shalimar necklace in this gorgeous fuchsia color. Let us just take a quick look over other colorways. This one in ruby red color, this necklace, and one more in this gorgeous emerald green color. Just take a look. So these are the three colorways that I have shown you, and I'm sure you are going to enjoy making this gorgeous necklace. So friends, these are the three colorways in our Shalimar necklace, and I'm sure you will love making this necklace, and in fact you will enjoy making this. This is a gorgeous necklace, and it will complement any attire of yours, and it will also make a beautiful gift for your loved ones. So friends, if you like my designs and my tutorials, please do subscribe to my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon so that you may get notified when I'll upload my next videos. Thank you and namaste.